All right, man, let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. No, it ain't been a lot of content, but they lost to Oklahoma City Thunder last night at Little Caesars Arena. But I don't know if people realize it. They're in contention for the number one pick, and let's talk about it. And just kind of get our synopsis on the whole situation and possibly what to do with the number one pick. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. I appreciate everybody for checking out the channel, making sure you just share the videos and share the channel. Best way to grow the channel is word of mouth. And but let's get into it and check out our Detroit Piston playlist. And yeah, the Pistons are actually 2 games out from the loss column of having the worst record in the NBA. They're 1-9 in their last 10. I think the worst record is held by the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. Shout out to Andre Drummond. And it's not late for the Pistons actually to blow it up. Derrick Rose probably going to shut down for the last 20 games. So, realistically, if they can win, only 2 of their last 20, I think it's down to 19 or 18 now, they probably will have one of the best chances to win the number one pick. And the number one pick is it's theirs. It's no protections. There's no somebody else's pick. This is their pick. When people didn't understand when they traded Andre, people said they got nothing for Andre. And that's not true. Second round picks, who really care? They got cap flexibility. Okay? And with cap flexibility, that makes the sky really the limit. When, somebody signed a player or a player they may not want, or somebody may decide to blow it up. You got an opportunity to get a good young player, but I think the Pistons don't need to rush into free agency this summer at all. It absolutely makes no sense. The only guy that I would max out is Brandon Ingram, and he won't even get a super max. He will get the $120 or $110 million max, whatever it was, that Jaylen Brown from the Celtics got. And it may be a realistic thing that Brandon Ingram might be a free agent. You know what I'm saying? It may be very, very realistic because I don't think him, Zion, and Lonzo will be able to work. Brandon Ingram is a guy that, he kind of do some things that Lonzo can do, and he can do some things that Zion can do, and he can do some things they can't do. But right now, the Pelicans are really loaded. And I think, if they have another high draft pick next year, why would you, strap yourself in the cap and sign Brandon Ingram? Even though he was an all-star this year, when Zion came back, kind of took away from what he does. So that's the only guy, unless you got a chance at Anthony Davis, which we know that's few far in between. That's the only guy we'll give him max to. Would I pay any amount for Fred VanVleet? No. Why would I take a Fred VanVleet and I might get a top 5 pick where I can get a Cole Anthony, I can get a LaMelo Ball, I can get a Killian, I can get anybody. I can get the guards of today. The guards of yesterday is Fred VanVleet. Not even guards yesterday. Fred VanVleet is a combo guard, but he's shorter. The team that you're building to beat in the Eastern Conference is the Milwaukee Bucks. And what are the Milwaukee Bucks known for? Length and defense. You look how long they are. From Chris Middleton to Giannis to, Brooke Lopez to Robin Lopez. Look at the length. Even bringing Marvin Williams in. So that's who you got to compete with. And length is always going to be dominant in the NBA. As long as you got shooting to go with. And they got enough shooting. So that's who you're really trying to beat. And you got a great start if you're able to add a Killian or you're able to add a LaMelo Ball. You got a great start at point guard. And Christian Woods as well. But I really know it's painful for people to watch the Detroit Pistons and go through the struggle that they're going through now and not have a Grant Hill there. You know what I'm saying? Not, really have the basis of a Jerry Stackhouse. And it's okay. Christian Woods is the number one guy. I think he got a career high last night in 29 points. I understand that, it's tough watching the team, even when they look like they're going to win, they lose and stuff of that nature. But, the end result is always going to be the Detroit Pistons as constructed getting swept or getting beat up or barely missing the playoffs, and you stuck in that 12, 13, 14, 15 range of the NBA lottery or just outside the lottery. So, this had to be done. It hasn't been done since they legitimately got Grant Hill. And people say, well, the organization gonna mess up anyway. Well, you can blame Stan Van Gundy for messing up the team assets. Okay? He messed up the team assets. Any assets you have from the Morris twins to Tobias and all the other guys you have on the team, he got rid of your assets for nothing. And then the money that you had free, he tied it up into Reggie Jackson, and then he tied it up into Blake Griffin, allowing the Clippers the flexibility to get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's what happened. Stan Van Gundy was more detrimental, and probably 25% of the time he was here compared to the time Joe Dumars was here than Joe Dumars' whole entire tenure. Stan Van Gundy messed up bad. But now you have an opportunity to get a fresh restart. And, by the Pistons going down the stretch, continuing the tank, starting G League players, and you figuring out shuffling guys who going to be here, who not going to be here. Is next year going to be pretty? Absolutely not. But can it be exciting if you get a Cole Anthony, the dude from Dayton? If you get an Anthony Edwards, if you get a LaMelo Ball? Yes, and then you have a healthy Blake Griffin next year at some point. But there's no need to rush a healthy Blake Griffin back. Because, if you get a healthy Blake Griffin, talk about Blake, and, he balls out and he plays the level that he played at when he the first full season with the Pistons, not the year he was traded, and he made NBA All-Third Team or he on that track, somebody might bite on Blake Griffin. If not, Blake Griffin ain't doing too much harm. Yes, he's taking up $36 million of the cap and this, that, and the third, but hey, guess what? It's not a strong free agent year. You got $40 million in cap space. You just want to fill out the team and still have flexibility. If you don't get Ingram, then you just sign a whole bunch of guys to the team. And, next year, you're in the same position, but you're more excited. You're more excited with LaMelo, Christian Wood, and, and Blake Griffin. So you still probably going to be, in the same situation you are next year, probably more top 7 than, number 1 pick. But if you're the number 1 pick, then next year, you're looking at another crop of young, good talent you're putting with LaMelo. So now, you 1 year closer to actually, being more exciting and being contender. Then the next year, you get another young talent. And by that time, if you're able to get 3 top 10 picks, 1 top 5, 1 top 7, keep another young top 10, or if you get up in the top 5 or 6 3 times in a row, and Ed Stefanowski is competent, now you're looking at a situation where you got 3 really young guys. You got Blake Griffin coming off the cap, right? You didn't tie your cap in to Fran VanVleet. You probably won't get Brandon Ingram. So you got a ton of cap space. So you got a team that's young, that's ascending, and going up on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Jokingly. And now you're in a situation where your cap is right. You got young players that's playing for cheap for 4 seasons. And don't forget, you also have an asset in Luke Canard that you can get off this year. And you probably can flip him to a first-round draft pick and probably get, overseas guy. But with Blake Griffin hurts nothing that's going on. Blake Griffin is kind of like having an ace in the hole. I think he has 2 more years on his contract left. Next year, if he don't ball out or, trade bait, then you have almost a $40 million, trade exception. Where his last year in Detroit, he's going to be making $40 million. Either you can trade that for a superstar, somebody trying to dump, a veteran guy, which most of your young guys should start to mature, or you let it roll off and you go into free agency with a lot of money again. You don't have to pay these young guys for like 4 or 5 years. So Blake could be there to comfort, to nurture, to groom. Derrick Rose will be there for another year if he's still around to do the same thing, to groom these young guys. So you got 2 of the best, mentors that you almost could find in the NBA. 2 guys that's been on top of the mountain. 2 guys that can preach, take care of your body, keep your weight down, how to be a pro. So, you still have assets. The assets that you still do have is Luke Canard. You have Derrick Rose. They can fetch something on the market. You know what I'm saying? You trade them together, you for sure can get a first-round draft pick back. You know, and Luke Canard has an option year coming up pretty soon. Not sure if it's this year or next year. So you pick it up and do you trade him? Absolutely. Luke Canard is not going to be part of this team's future, you know, unless he miraculously get healthy, which he hasn't shown to get healthy yet. You know, but it doesn't matter if you keep him on the team and, you know, he goes elsewhere. Absolutely not. But if he still has some value, I mean, if you can get a first-round draft pick for him and Derrick Rose, do it. But keep in mind, you still need those veterans and those shooters on the team to help these young guys out. That's very, very important. You still need these veterans. But Luke Canard can be another trade piece. You know, but looking to, before we get to the draft, to end the video, we can talk about Christian Wood and why and when they plan to pay him, or do they plan to let him test free agency and let him walk? Because he's very, very important to speeding the process up. His estimated value on the market is $5 to $7 million a year, and if that's a problem to pay him $5 to $7 million, then I don't know what the issue is. Then they must not like him, because he deserves a contract now. You know, if you plan on keeping him. If not, if you want to let him, you know, get overpaid by Houston or get overpaid by Boston, or you're willing to match any offer, but why wait to get to that point? Offer him the stability now. You know, he's proven it night in and night out. It ain't like you about to give him $20 million a night. But once again, this just shows you, it scares you about going into the draft because the organization is incompetent. Some team gonna see value in Christian Woods, and you're gonna lose a guy that you actually developed and he blossomed. So he need to be paid right now because he fits whatever you do. If you get James Wiseman and that's who you choose to get, he can play next to James Wiseman, and for $5 to $7 million, that's backup money. Worst case scenario, he backs him up. He can play with LaMelo, great length. He can play with Killian, Anthony Edwards. You know, Cole Anthony. Keep going on and on. He is the modern day big man, but, you know, this shows you this organization ain't too smart. Going to talk about the draft pick to end it out. We're saying we can get the number one pick with, you know, the conspiracy theorists. You know, I'm going to put my conspiracy theorist brother hat on, which I agree with a lot of conspiracy theorists. The NBA draft is rigged. In my humble opinion, it's very rigged. So is it a situation where the NBA going to finally show us some love? They never show Detroit no love. So best case scenario is probably you get into the top 5. NBA might be nice and let you get number 2. You know, but I don't see them letting Detroit get the number 1 pick. They always had a bone to pick with us. Even when Isaiah was here and it was about changing the rules and creating flagrants and helping Michael Jordan out, they always had something against the Detroit Pistons. So I get the conspiracy theory that they won't let us get the number 1 pick, or we won't have like a Cleveland Cavaliers type of run, you know, something like that. But and also get the people that say if we get the number 1 pick, or if we get high in the draft, will the Pistons brain trust be smart enough to pick the right guy? And that is very, very valid. But if you pick a number 10 or 15, it's a lot harder to find the Giannis, the McCollum. You know, it's a lot harder to find those guys. The Devin Bookers of the world. When you picking that number 7, number 8 in certain drafts, it's hard to find the Paul George, the Kawhi Leonards of the world. But when you in the top 5, it's a little bit easier. You don't get Zion, you get Ja. You don't get Trey, you can get Luka. I mean, Marvin Bagley, if he was healthy, would still be a nice pickup for the Sacramento Kings. So these drafts are getting deeper and deeper. The talent is getting better and better each year. So what a better time to be alive at the top of the draft now. You know, 76ers, they got some hits and some misses. Ben, Joel, Markelle, and Nerlens Noel. 2 out of 4. So we'll see what happens. But think the draft, you know, it might be kind of us. You know, we almost got the worst record. So let's keep losing, guys. Let's keep pushing it. You know, let's keep losing. You know, but the question is, will the NBA lottery be kind to us? Will the Pistons brain trust know to pick the right guy? Will they be stupid enough to trade back? Will they be stupid enough to trade the pick for a veteran player? But right now, as constructed, the Pistons are at ground zero and they're in a great position. So let me know what you guys think. Motor City Sports Talk. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? That Cash App, PayPal in the description. The best way to donate personally is to share the video. And I didn't realize how bad they really were and how close they were to the number one pick. But very, very close. Let me know how you feel. Continue to share the videos. I appreciate the love, support. And check my other channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, for more sports, music, news, and entertainment.